ஸ்ரீமதே ராமானுஜர்மா ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவள்ளேசனம் ஸ்ரீநாராயணேதி இந்திர பதபங்கஜதாசரத்னம் ஸ்ரீரங்கநாதேதி இந்திர கருணைகரசானுபாத்திரம் நமாமி சத் சம்பிரதாய விஷய பிரவர்த்தகாரம் குரும் பாரத்வாஜம் அமார்த்தி விநாச கல்பவருஷம் காஷபான்வய சஞ்சாதம் நாராயணபதாஸ்ரம் ஸ்ரீமன் நாராயணம் வந்தே யதீஸ்வர ஸ்ரீயாஜசம் ஸ்ரீசைலேஷதயாபாத்திரம் தீபக்தியாதுகுணானம் இது இந்திர பிராணம் வந்தே ரம்மஜா மாதரம்மணம் लक्ष्मीनाथ समारंभां नादयाम नज्जमाम अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युत पदाम्बुजे युग्मरुक्म व्यामोहदशैधराणित्रणायमेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोस्य दयैकसिन्धो रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता यवदयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन वदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नकुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदेङ्गरुडं प्रणमामि मूर्धां भूतं सरस्वमदा वैवटनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्तांग्रेन परकालेतीन्द्र विश्रांत श्रीमद परांकुशमणिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं रामानुजपदच्छाया गोविन्दाह्वानपायिनी तदा यत्तस्वरूपासा जीयान्मद्विश्रमस्थले. Welcome to an Embaar Anubhavam series. Today is Thai Punarpusam, our esteemed day where one of our Oranvali Acharyas, the one Acharya who is like a diamond in our Acharya Parampara, his Tirunakshatram, we are celebrating it today. So, he is none other than the direct cousin of Embaar Ramanuja, born as Govinda Bhattar, to sister to the Kantimati Amma, Dhyutimati, who is the mother of our esteemed Ramanuja. So, he was born on Thai Punarvasu in Maduramangalam, a state near Maduranthakam, near Kanchipuram. His father name was Kamalanayana Bhattar and mother name was Dhyutimati Amma, also known as Sridevi Amma. Swami Govinda Bhattar was born as an avataram of Garuda. Usually there is a story behind it telling that once there was in Vaikuntham, Garuda was instructed by Perumal to go into Bhulokam or do avataram into Bhulokam and go into all the sampradayams and come back to his Tiruvadi and know the truth and come back to his Tiruvadi. This is not mentioned in Arayarapadi Guru Parampara but mentioned in certain Sthala Grandhams. So he was born in 1026, that is 1000 years from now, 9 years after the birth of Embaar Ilayalvar. He was named by Periya Thirumala Nambi, the same Acharya who named Ramanuja as Ilayalvar in his Purvashtamam. Since he is the maternal uncle, so he had gone to that Maduramangalam and done all the Jata Samskarams to Swami Govinda Bhattar and named him Govinda Bhattar. And Swami Govinda Bhattar has attained all the initial instructions from his father, Swami Kamalanayana Bhattar. When Embaar Ilayalvar went to Kanchipuram to obtain certain Vedam and Vedantam from Yadav Prakashaka, Govinda Bhattar also followed the trail and reached Kanchipuram. Both were under tutelage of our Yadav Prakashaka, one of the Shuddha Advaiti back then, who established this Matam or Siddhantam on his own. So, Yadav Prakashaka was teaching Swami Ramanuja, who was now then as Ilayalvar, and Govinda Bhattar simultaneously. At the same time, Ramanuja was disagreeing with Yadav Prakashaka on certain Veda Mantra Arthams, meanings of Vedams. At that time, Yadav Prakashaka, who was attained with ego, went on to execute Embaar by a plan through which they all went to Kashi, Varanasi as a pilgrimage, and he has planned over there while doing Ganga Snan, they will kill Ramanuja, portraying it as an accident. Once they were at the outskirts of Kashi, Govinda Bhattar Swami got to know all these things and he has instructed his brother Ilayalvar to leave the place. We all know that how Ilayalvar with the help of Kanchi Perandevi Tayar and Varadaraja Perumal reached Kanchipuram. At the same time, we should know what happened at that time of the story. Swami Govinda Bhattar went and had Ganga Snanam, during which he had got a Shivalingam in his hand. We had known that he had a Shabam that he had to go through all the Sampradayams, other Sampradayam. He already went into Yadav Prakasha Matam and now into Shaiva Matam, where he was considered as one of the greatest saints of Shiva, and he was named Kullankai Konartha Nayanar. And till today in Mandaramangalam there is a Shivalingam which has been done Pradishta by the same Govinda Bhattar Swami. So at that time he went back to Mandaramangalam. There he got a dream where Shiva instructs him to go and do some seva at Srikalahasti temple, Srikalahasti, which is near Tirupati. At that time, Periya Thirumal Nambi, who was instructed by his Acharya Alavandar to go and do Kainkaryam in Thiruvengadam, got to know all these things through his Shishya. So, Periya Thirumal Nambi goes to Govinda Bhattar 3 times to instruct him into the good path. At the first time, he went and just stood. Govinda Bhattar, who was then Ullangai Konartha Nayanar, came with his Shishyas but didn't care to greet his Acharya or his uncle, maternal uncle. But Periya Thirumal Nambi went by himself and asked, "Why are you doing all this Kainkaryam? You have been ordained by our Sampradayam into our Sampradayam, then why are you going into other Sampradayam?" was asked, but our Govinda Bhattar didn't give any answer then. Periya Thirumal Nambi understood the thing and he had gone to retreat some other day. On the next visit, when Periya Thirumal Nambi has visited Govinda Bhattar, at that time he had written a note from the Stotraratnam. There is Lokam. Swabhavika Anavadika Adishaya Shri Krititvam Narayana Tvaina Mrichadi Vaidikakkaha Brahma Shiva Shatamaka Paramaswaraditi Etepi Yasya Mahimarna Viprushuste. So, a slokam from the Stotraratnam written by Periya Thirumal Nambi's Acharya Swami Alavandar. So, there is a high historic meaning in this ashrams. So, Periya Thirumal Nambi wrote it in a palm leaf and left it near a plain site for Govinda Bhattar to take this. Govinda Bhattar, who has seen this, has read the palm script and questioned Periya Thirumal Nambi. Have you lost anything of your belongings? So for this, Periya Thirumal Nambi answers, "I don't lose anything of my own." It was indicating both Govinda Bhattar and the palm leaf also. At that time, so Periya Thirumal Nambi, Govinda Bhattar has asked Periya Thirumal Nambi, "Why are you telling that your way is the only way? There are many ways, right?" So, Periya Thirumal Nambi answers telling that there is only one highway or the straight way to Vaikuntham, to the Paramatma, Parampurusha. There is no sideways. This also indicates the straight Thiruman and the sideways, the tilaka which they keep for Shaivas. So, Govinda Bhattar Swami retreats from there, and but this slokam has made an impact in his mind. For the third time, when Ramanuja comes to Thiruvengadam to learn Sri Ramayanam and all the Grandhams from Periya Thirumal Nambi, at that point of time, Ramanuja asked Periya Thirumal Nambi, "Please go and correct our relative Govinda Bhattar, who has gone in a wrong way, which was other than the way it was initiated." So at that time, Periya Thirumal Nambi goes to Srikalahasti for the final time and he speaks with Ullankai Konartha Nayanar, then Govinda Bhattar. He instructs Thiruvaimoli. Now we have seen the Periya Thirumal Nambi has shown Pramana from Vedam, then Stotraratnam, then Thiruvaimoli. At this time, Thinnin Veedu was selected by Periya Thirumal Nambi. He has instructed all the 10 pashrams. At the last, when he told, "Devum Emberaman Kallal Poom Pushat Tagumu," he was reciting all this while Embaar Govinda Bhattar was plucking the flowers. This pashram translates telling that, is there any other reason why a flower should bloom other than for the Kainkaryam of Perumal, who is the Paramatma, who is the Jagatpati? At this time, Govinda Bhattar leaves the basket over there and comes back with Periya Thirumalnambi to Thiruvengadam, where he again gets initiated into the Sampradayam in a proper way, and he learns many shastrams from Periya Thirumalnambi. At that time, Swami Ramanuja, who has accepted sannyasashramam by then, has come to Thiruvengadam for resolving a dispute whether Thiruvengadam was Shiva or Vishnu or Durga idol. So at that point of time, Ramanuja had to stay for a long time. There were few instances which were seen by Ramanuja about Embaar Swami Vaibhavam, which has been noted in Arayarapadi Guru Parampara. There is a first incident where Embaar Swami was preparing bed for Periya Thirumalnambi. Usually, when you prepare bed, they will check all the softness and all, and you have to decorate the bed and everything, make comfortable for the Acharya, and you have to complete your work. But Embaar Swami, contrarily, he makes the bed and he sleeps on it and gets up and tells it was okay. So Ramanuja was seeing all this from aside and was asking Embaar Swami, the Govinda Bhattar, why did you do this? This is a big crime actually. The thing which is dedicated for Acharya, you shouldn't use it for yourself. So the thing which you are doing may lead you to hell. So Govinda Bhattar Swami tells, may my Acharya place me wherever I am suitable, but this bed should be utmost comfort for my Acharya. There shouldn't be any shortcoming for my Acharya. So even if I go to Narakam, there is no issue. I will do my Acharya Kainkariam with that utmost sincerity. There is a second instance where there was a snake lying on the ground which was writhing in pain because there was a thorn in its throat. Swami Embaar sees this and goes to the snake and plucks the thorn from its mouth. Ramanuja, seeing from aside, he was shocked seeing the scene. He was asking, why did you put your hand in the snake's mouth? So Ramanuja, Swami Govinda Bhattar goes on telling that, see, there was a thorn in that snake's mouth, so I had to remove it. Ramanuja told, don't you know that there is a swabhava of the snake, that it will sting whoever touches it? For this, Embaar Swami tells, the swabhava of the snake is that, but a swabhava of human, Sri Vaishnava, is that you have to help each and every prani. Each and every Jivatma you have to help. So, such was the greatness of Embaar Swami Govinda Bhattar, which even shocked Embaar. So, at the end of this stay, Ramanuja had to leave. Then he was feeling bad that he couldn't give any Guru Dakshina for his Acharya. But since Ramanuja was in Sannyasashrama Dharmam and Periya Thirumalnambi in Grihasthashramam, he had to give any gifts to Ramanuja while leaving. So Ramanuja asked for Govinda Bhattar to be sent with him to Srirangam, and that was the even Thiruvulam of Periya Thirumalnambi. So Periya Thirumalnambi gives his Shishya just like a thing. He instructs Govinda Bhattar to go along with Ramanuja. Swami Govinda Bhattar didn't even say a word. He understood his Acharya Agna and he went. While reaching Kanchipuram, Govinda Bhattar suddenly felt dejected. His face was fully faded. It was not in a good condition. Seeing this, Ramanuja has asked Govinda Bhattar, okay, why are you so sad? Is there anything which you have done wrong? So Govinda Bhattar says, see, you have bought us from our Acharya. We don't have any other thing to do except our Acharya Kainkariam, our Acharya Agnya. So, but I am not happy over here. I'll be happy if I go with my Acharya. The same Ramanuja, same Alvar, who was protected by the same Govinda Bhattar due to his love for his brother, the love was lost now. Then Ramanuja instructs Govinda Bhattar to go back to his Acharya. Just visit his Acharya once. So, at that point, Embaar Swami Govinda Bhattar runs in a very fast pace. He reaches the Acharya Tirumaligai. The Tirumaligai is there. There is a door. Periya Thirumalnambi Swami was sitting over there. His wife was sitting beside. And he has done a Shastanga Namaskaram and stood at the door. He was not entering the Tirumaligai since it was his Acharya Agna to go away. So, The wife of Periya Thirumal Nambi, who was very compassionate, asked Periya Thirumal Nambi, okay, our son, whatever you may say, he is a nephew to us. He has come from such long distance for you. Why don't you do anugraham to him? Why don't you tell at least to come inside and have some food before you ask him to leave? So, Periya Thirumal Nambi Swami answers in such a way that usually, does anyone give food to a cow that is sold to a different owner? That's not done usually, right? The owner has to take care of it. The Tiruvullam of Periya Thirumal Nambi was not to insult Govinda Bhattar or something, but it was only one such intention that Govinda Bhattar, if he goes to Srirangam, will be one among the great Acharya Purushas with his knowledge and all. So he doesn't want to keep him over there, and Ramanuja has asked for Govinda Bhattar. So Periya Thirumal Nambi has sent away, and this time Govinda Bhattar has come to Tirurangam to meet Ramanuja, and he completely surrendered to Ramanuja. At this time, Dutimati Amma or Sridevi Ammal, who is the mother of Govinda Bhattar, has asked Ramanuja, like, what about his next generation? Next generation of Govinda Bhattar. At that point of time, since everything was set for Acharya, everything was set to Acharya, whether it's good or bad, whatever responsibilities, whether it be Laukikam or whether it be spiritual things. So, Govinda Bhattar, Embaar Manar has instructed Govinda Bhattar to get married and go and follow his Grihasthashrama dharmas. At that point of time, he goes away, he sits in the room with his wife, and they were discussing about Antaryami Perumal. Next day, Dutimati Ammal, Sridevi Ammal asked her daughter-in-law what happened last night. Was everything alright? So she told that he has shown his Antaryami Perumal, who is very bright. We spoke about Antaryami Perumal entire night. So this was again reported to Ramanuja. At that point of time, he called Govinda Bhattar and asked, why did you follow your Grihasthashrama dharma? You should go into Ekantam with your wife, right? Then Govinda Bhattar answers saying that there is no Ekantam for me, right? Where is Ekantam? Everywhere the Embaar is there. The Antaryami Perumal is very bright. He is shining very bright, and there is no darkness. Usually Shastram tells wife and husband should meet in dark. But there is no dark. For me, Antaryami Perumal is once I have seen Antaryami Perumal, there is no going back. At that point of time, Swami Ramanuja has understood the state of Embaar Swami and instructs him to he gives sannyasa ashram to Govinda Bhattar and calls him Embaar Manar. But Embaar Swami takes M and R from Embaar Manar Tirunavaram and names himself Embaar, the one who is Dasa to Embaar Manar. So the Shishyas who are present in Ramanuja Matam were speaking ill of Embaar Swami. Like he was not capable of doing his Grihasthashrama dharmas and so on. We know even today it was say about some 1,000 years. So at that point of time, Swami Embaar Manar wanted to show them the greatness of Embaar Swami. So there's an instance where he throws a small pin into a dark room. Embaar Swami Ramanuja Shishyas were asked to go into that dark room and get that small piece of metal which was thrown over there. They all went with great big lamps and all which were present back then, the fire lamps and all, but they couldn't find it. So at that point of time, Ramanuja instructed Embaar Swami. He went and just bought it instantly, showing that his Antaryami Perumal was such bright, he could even control the outside environment. So once there was another instant which was mentioned in Arayapara Guru Parampara, that Embaar Swami was standing in front of a Vaishya's home of a prostitute. He being a sannyasi, this was very weird. This was reported to Swami Ramanuja. Ramanuja confronts Embaar Swami asking what was happening. To this, Embaar Swami replies that she was speaking about the glories of Ramanuja, you. So she was singing a song to her child. So I was listening to it. I was lost in it. So that was the greatness of Embaar and his Acharya Nishtha. And one more incident which is mentioned in Narayana Parampara is that once Embaar Swami was standing on the road and few shishyas of him were speaking greatness, they were praising Embaar Swami. Embaar Swami was just nodding his head as if accepting all the comments made by them. To which Ramanuja, who was passing from there, saw this and he confronted Embaar Swami telling, but isn't this against your Swarupam? That Naitya Sandhanam should be done. You shouldn't accept the glory spoken to you. So, for this, Swami Embaar told, oh, were they speaking greatness of me? No, I didn't listen. I was thinking they were speaking glories of my Acharya. So, that there is no such glories of me. So, whatever glories are there for those are for Acharya, right? So, if I reject them, telling that I should do Naitya Sandhanam, isn't it the way that I am accepting that praise that they are doing, they are praising me and reject it. So, Embaar Swami had told all these things, and this is a great Vaibhavam of Embaar Swami, and we'll see how he came into Arayara Kuru Parampara or that Oran Vali Parampara, where Embaar Swami succeeds Ramanuja before Parasara Bhattar Swami. So, Kurattalvan Swami, one of the esteemed Shishyas of Ramanuja, had two sons, Parasara Bhattar and Vedavyasa Bhattar, due to the great Karuna of Ranganatha and Ranganachi. So, Ramanuja went to the 10th day function, which was done as after the 10 days of birth of a child. Ramanuja was speaking to Kurattalvan, and then he instructed Embaar Swami to go and bring this child. So, Kurattalvan saw this child and he felt there may be some evil forces surrounding the child. They may harm the child. So he has put a raksha. Usually he has done Mangala Sahasram to the children with Dvayamantram. This he went and took the babies to Ramanuja. At that point of time, they have Ramanuja sensed something and he asked Embaar Swami, what did you instruct Dvayamantram to them? To which Embaar Swami told, yes Swami, I have seen the child, they were glowing with great Vaibhavam. For their Mangala Sahasram, I did Dvayamantra Anusandhanam. So for this, Ramanuja instructed Embaar Swami to be Acharya for both Parasara Bhattar Swami and Vedavyasa Bhattar Swami. And after Ramanuja has left this lokam, Embaar was, he has that Adhishtanam of the Oran Vali Parampara, Darshana Pravartaka Acharya, and then he at this end stage, when he was leaving this Leela Vibhuti, he has instructed Parasara Bhattar Swami 10 commandments of how a Sri Vaishnava should be, that we will be discussing in the next upcoming video today. And he has told, forget that you are Kurattalvan's son, forget that you are Ramanuja's successor, just hold Ramanuja's Tiruvadi as your Rakshakam, and that will protect you, was his final instructions to Parasara Bhattar. Along with Parasara Bhattar, the entire Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, he told, Rama Embermanar Tiruvadigalai Sharanam. So that's the only mantram for us. So that was his Acharya Parampara, Acharya Nishtha, and Swami Embaar's Vaibhavam. Saying this, we'll end our Anubhavam over here. Alvar Embermanar Jiya Tiruvadigalai Sharanam. Om Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. Adiyan Ramanuja.